Now with the center application method of putting on a zipper, you again have your fabrics pinned together as if you're going to do a seam. So let's just say this is the back seam. I'm just using a scrap piece of paper for this demonstration. I already have my two pieces of fabric pinned together right side to right side, and it's pinned along back seam right here. On your pattern, there should be some sort of indication where the zipper is going to go. I put a dot here for my 7-inch zipper. So this is going to be where the bottom of the zipper is. This is where the top of the zipper is going to go. So for this method, you're going to do a regular stitch from the bottom of your fabric to the dot. From the dot all the way up to the top, you're going to base stitch it. After you base stitch it, you're going to press this whole seam open and get ready to lay your zipper on top of that. So now I'm going to do my regular seam from the bottom of the fabric to the dot. I'm going to do a back stitch and just go with my regular seam allowance, which is 5/8 of a seam. 5/8 of an inch on this particular strap that I'm doing. And then once I get to my dot, I'm going to do another back stitch. Alright, so that's all I need to do at that point. Now from my dot on, I'm now going to change this to a base stitch. So it's going to be the largest stitch that my machine can do. I'm still going to do it at the 5/8 inch seam allowance. I don't back stitch. And I just sew this all the way to the end. Now when I finish with this, I'm going to press my seam open as I would do any seam. And I don't do a back stitch here at the end. Okay, so now I'm going to go iron this, and then we're going to put the zipper on it. So now I have my seam pressed open on my scrap here. The basting part is on this top half, and the regular stitch is on this bottom half. Here's my dot of where the bottom of my zipper is going to be placed. I have my zipper here, and now I'm going to turn it upside down so that the head of the zipper is face down, and it gets placed right onto the seam allowance here. You want to make sure that the teeth of the zipper line up with your seam right here down the middle. Once you have it lined up, what you're going to do is you're going to open up your zipper and you're going to place one half of the zipper onto one side of your seam. Here's our seam down the middle. Here's the edge of one of our flaps from our seam. And what I'm going to do now is I'm going to pin this down through all these layers of fabric here. And then I'm going to stitch along the zipper teeth to secure the zipper to the fabric. So now I'm getting ready to stitch my zipper to my fabric, but the first thing I need to do is change the foot. So I'm going to take off the regular foot and put on my zipper foot. Now my zipper foot probably looks kind of odd compared to some of yours. The usual zipper foot is just a long, skinny, narrow foot, but mine actually allows me to switch sides, and it's a wider zipper foot because I can also go on this side. The reason why you have a zipper foot is because it allows you to get a lot closer to the teeth of the zipper when you're sewing it. So after I do that, I'm also going to switch my sewing machine setting to a base stitch, because right at this point I just want to tack the zipper onto the fabric. So I'm going to go ahead, and I don't have to do a back stitch or anything. I'm going to put this needle down, put my foot down, and where the head of the zipper is, it's kind of difficult to sew because it is so bulky, but you just want to get as close as you can. and go all the way down to the end here. Once you get down to the end, we're then going to do the other side, but in order to do that, we're going to zip the zipper up. So again, when you get down to the end, you don't have to backstitch. Just pull this out. So now this is secured on one side. You can see your basting stitch on the right side of your fabric. We're going to zip the zipper up. And now we're going to do it on the other side. So I'm just going to change my zipper foot over to the other side. And I'm going to sew all the way up. Okay. So now the basting part is done. So now we're going to do the top stitching on our zipper. But before I do that, you want to make note to where the end of the zipper is. You'll see these little loose parts of the polyester siding. Right at the end of that is the end of the zipper. So we're going to turn this over. And you're going to put a pin now on this side where the end of the zipper is, which is right here. So you stick a pin through there, because now we're going to be sewing on this side, and this pin is a note to us of where the end of the zipper actually is. So we're going to follow the basting line. When we hit the pin, we're going to do a turn, go directly at a 90-degree angle, then go back up the basting stitch. Now I'm going to do a top stitch, and I'm going to stitch directly on top of my basting stitch I already put on. Makes it sometimes easier if you use a different colored thread for your basting stitch, so it's a little easier to spot. If it blends in too much with your fabric, then it makes it a little bit more difficult, and you can just take out the basting stitch later. So I'm going to do a regular stitch. I'm going to back stitch, and I'm going to go directly onto my previous stitch. If you do happen to use the same color for your fabric, and so you do the basting stitch in the color of your fabric and then you do the top stitch, then if you do a really good job following it, then you don't have to take out the basting stitch. But I kind of do this at a slow pace because I want to make sure that I get on there. I'm going to go ahead and take up my pin and just mark it with my finger so I know where it is. Okay, so once I get there, I'm going to put my needle down, lift my foot, pivot this, and then continue going across until I get to my other basting stitch, which is right here. Okay, so then when I get there, I pivot it again, and now I'm going to go down. Let me just go one more stitch here, just so I make sure it's lined up. Okay, I'm going to put my foot down, and now I'm going to follow this basting line all the way down. Then when I get to the end, get a back stitch and knot it off. Now we have our zipper top stitched on. Here's the top stitch going all the way around. The last step then is to take out the basting stitch, which is down the middle of the seam here. So all I'm going to do is pull it apart. And since it's a basting stitch, it comes apart pretty easily. You just kind of have to cut it and then pull it, and then you'll have more threading exposed. And as you can see, my zipper is slowly appearing. And now we have a zipper in our seam. And then look at this. There you go. You have a zipper.
Our book, Professor Pincushion's Beginner Guide to Sewing, Garment Making for Nervous Newbies, is now available to order. Go to professorpincushion.com/books or click on the link in the description to see a list of vendors where you can purchase it.